Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing very well out there. So in this video, I'm going to be drawing upon ancient and modern Taoist texts on developing virtue within our lives and in the world around us. And in doing so, we can help heal the world, each other, and our own lives. And I'll also be drawing upon a specific Shengong, which is spirit skill technique, that we can apply in our daily lives as well, that can empower and enhance our spiritual development, but also help us remain calm, balanced, and centered within the heart to better be able to navigate the world and any issues that may arise in the world. So we must also remember that the external reality is a reflection of the internal reality. So mastering that and healing ourselves from within, we naturally then create that in the environment and in the world around us. So a lot of these principles and guidelines, I believe, will be very, very beneficial for us to truly create a positive and benevolent change in the world. Okay, on to the first one. Quote, "The four types of virtues. The ancient Taoists believe that the cultivation of virtue has its reward, both within heaven and within the Tao. These energetic and spiritual rewards are without shape or form and are the magical stepping stones used by most Taoist disciples to access the secret teachings hidden within the various spirit realms. In high levels of Taoism, the acquired magical powers of a disciple are not totally dependent on his ability to practice powerful Qigong and Shengong exercises, but are also dependent on his ability to cultivate genuine virtue. According to the Huming Jing, I'm not sure if I said that right, if you do not have virtuous power, DE, even if you encounter the Tao, heaven will certainly not grant it to you. Why is this? Virtuous power and the Tao are like birds' wings. If one is missing, the other is useless. You must have dedication, devotion, compassion, moral integrity, and obey the 5 precepts, which are no killing, no stealing, no adultery, no lying, and no intoxication. Only then do you have something to hope for. With each kind deed, the disciple's heart becomes purer and the subtle activities of his true spirit increase. This allows the gap between the qi of the disciple's yuan shen, original spirit, and the irradiant light of his zhan shen, eternal soul, to be reduced. Taoist priests traditionally divide DE virtue into 4 categories: apparent virtue, yin virtue, mystical virtue, and genuine virtue. Each type of virtue represents a specific level of spiritual cultivation and is described as follows. 1. Apparent virtue. This is considered to be the first level of virtue. However, in this level of compassion, all charitable acts are visible to others and are immediately rewarded with material and or verbal gratitude. Because in apparent virtue there is an even exchange of energy, no accumulation of spiritual energy is cultivated. 2. Yin virtue. This is considered a transitional stage of spiritual evolution. At this level, the disciple performs kind deeds without expecting any form of reward. This is the foundation of a true cultivator of the Tao and is considered to be the preliminary stage to progressing towards the level of mystical virtue. 3. Mystical virtue. This is considered to be a higher form of virtue. It is the expression of virtue by mystics in the process of cultivating and nurturing their true Shen. These disciples are able to do good deeds without people knowing about their charitable actions. They are both knowingly and unknowingly helping others and society by healing the sick, helping people in trouble, protecting the balance of nature, etc. 4. Genuine virtue. This is considered to be the highest form of virtue. It is pure, genuine, natural, and uncontrived. It is performed spontaneously without any formulated mental process, as a natural expression of the individual's internal connection with the Tao. In order to help a disciple develop his virtue, he is traditionally required each night to take inventory inventory and accountability of all of his moods, thoughts, and actions. Everything that occurred during the day must be accounted for. In this way, the disciple begins to observe all of his actions without judgment and is slowly being introduced to the skill of projecting his spiritual consciousness as an active observer. Unquote. That was by Jerry Allen Johnson from his book Taoist Internal Alchemy, Neigong and Weigong Training. Next one, quote, "A virtuous person speaks kindly, sees kindly, and acts kindly. Performing good deeds in a single day will bring blessings. Conversely, a malicious person speaks wickedly, sees wickedly, and acts wickedly. Persisting in daily evils will invite calamities from heaven." This means that a person of abundant fortune practices daily kindness in speech, perspective, and actions. By maintaining this habit over the years, heaven will bless them. Conversely, a malicious and harmful individual will bring calamity upon themselves through persistent evil speech, thoughts, and actions. 3 virtues are: 1. Kindness in speech. This refers to using kind and positive words, speaking encouraging, positive and uplifting words, avoid harsh or harmful language, slander, and sowing discord. 2. Kindness in perspective. This means adopting a correct and virtuous perspective. Be grateful, harbor good intentions, and approach others with a warmth and compassion. Avoid evil thoughts, malice, or harboring hatred and resentment. 3. Kindness in actions. This involves helping others, offering encouragement, expressing praise, and protecting animals and plants. Acts such as helping communities, aiding the weak, or protecting or aiding the innocent, and contributing to others' success in a good way all fall under this virtue. By consistently practicing these 3 virtues, heaven will surely bless the individual. Unquote. That was from a Taoist text called Gan Ying Pian, and it was translated by Don't Know Nothing. Next one, quote, "Good and evil always bring their results. The principle of Cheng Fu, inheritance and bearing, is an important view of cause and effect in Taoism. The state of one's heart is itself the foundation of fortune, blessings, and disasters are all drawn upon by one's own actions. There are 2 kinds of blessed people. First, those who benefit from the accumulated virtue of their ancestors, yet if they themselves do not cultivate virtue, the blessing will eventually be exhausted and suffering will come. Second, those whose ancestors accumulated virtue and who themselves also cultivate virtue, then enjoy peace in this life, and their descendants will continue to prosper. If ancestors committed wrongdoing, but one cultivates goodness, once the ancestral debts are repaid, blessings will arrive. Yet, regardless of ancestral merit or sin, if a person commits great good or great evil, it can outweigh what came before, bringing the corresponding result and also affecting their descendants. This is the principle of Cheng Fu, inheritance and bearing. Everyone receives the result of their own deeds. The law of heaven turns without fail and does not spare any wrongdoer. May all people cultivate goodness and accumulate virtue, so that the good receive good rewards and live in peace all their lives." Unquote. That was translated by Don't Know Nothing, so thank you for that. Next up is Shengong, which is spirit skill, cultivation. Quote, "When the Taoist disciple's original spirit is fully developed, he will acquire certain extraordinary powers and psychic abilities, such as clairvoyant sight, soul travel. The key to enhancing development of these special energetic powers is learning how to control the vast amount of qi within the body without shenning out, which is becoming lost in the illusions and distractions of the projected fantasies of the acquired mind. This reckless lack of control by the body's shen, mind, allows the disciple's ethereal spirit, to leave his body and wander about. In order to avoid unconsciously disconnecting his spirit from the body, the disciple will have to continually practice special training methods designed to assist him in developing a powerful mental focus. Once the disciple's focus concentration has been disciplined and mastered, then the original spirit, Yan Shen, can be encouraged to fully develop. This will manifest via many extraordinary clairvoyant powers and spiritual abilities. However, it's important to remember that the primary goal of the disciple's training is to achieve spiritual transformation and maintain a state of awakened enlightenment. Therefore, he should not be led astray by the excitement of developing various supernatural powers. Nourishing and strengthening the Shen. These special techniques emphasize strengthening and refining the magical power of the disciple's original spirit. There's an ancient Taoist saying that states, if you want to nourish your Shen, you must first nourish your Qi. If you want to nourish your Qi, you must first nourish your brain. To nourish the brain, you have to tonify your Jing. To tonify your Jing, you have to nourish your blood. To nourish your blood, you have to nourish your saliva. In order to achieve this, you need to nourish your water. When the water moves into the lung channel, it turns into saliva. When it moves into the heart channel, it turns into blood. When blood moves into the kidney, it creates Jing. When Jing moves into the sea of marrow, it flows into the Niwan palace, creating enlightenment. 4 ways to cultivate the Shen. These special Shengong techniques emphasize this disciplining both the thoughts and the emotions to relax and tranquilize the original spirit and to become more receptive to divine energy and guidance. By disciplining, quieting the thoughts and emotions, the Shen becomes relaxed and tranquil and remains in its residence, the heart. The skill of housing the Shen specifically pertains to keeping and refining the Shen. This special training is divided into 4 major steps, described as follows. Keeping and protecting the Shen. Only after regulating the heart's emotions and the mind's intentions can the Shen be watched over, directed, nursed, and kept in its residence. This is achieved by using the imagination and intention of the conscious mind to direct, nurse, and oversee the Shen. This can be accomplished with the help and support of positive affirmations used to stabilize the emotions. 2. Solidifying the Shen. Once the Shen is willingly kept in its residence, the heart, it can be solidified and formed. This is achieved by regulating all thoughts and emotions. Once all thoughts and emotions have been regulated, the mind will become steady and calm. 3. Stabilizing and calming the Shen. The Shen must not be allowed to attach itself to any outside emotional distractions. It must be carefully energized but not excited. Only after the heart's emotions and mind's intentions are in a state of inner peace can the Shen be calmed and stabilized. 4. Concentrating, refining, focusing, and strengthening the Shen. Only after practicing the foundations of keeping, solidifying, and stabilizing the Shen can a disciple begin the level of refining and strengthening his Shen. This is achieved by condensing and focusing the Shen onto a tiny point of light in order to build, strengthen, and refine its power. One way that a disciple's Qi can be trained to nourish and strengthen his Shen is through a form of coherent light meditation. This special meditation focuses the projecting the intention of the disciple's Shen onto a small circle of light, generally about the size of a marble or pearl. Through continual practices, the disciple's focus of concentration can be taught to extend either externally onto a specific point outside his body or internally onto a specific point inside his body. Through this type of focused coherent light training, it is possible to build the Shen strength and refine its power. When focus, intention, and imagination are placed onto a specific area, the Qi and Shen condense together, forming a more powerful type of energy. Unquote. That was by Jerry Allen Johnson from his book on Taoist internal alchemy, Neigong and Weigong training. Next one, quote, the 10 demons trials. In Taoist cultivation, the path to enlightenment requires one to pass the many trials known as the 10 demons and 9 hardships, which are like tribulations faced by practitioners. Even those who dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to spiritual practices often struggle to overcome these trials. First is the demon of the six thieves. The eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind can lead one astray through indulgence in sight, sounds, tastes, and sensations. One must stay mindful and resist these temptations. Second is the demon of wealth. Illusions of gold, jewels, grand halls, and luxurious surroundings may appear. These are not real and must not strike the cultivator. Third is the demon of status. Visions of high rank, honor, and noble displays can arise, but the practitioner must remain grounded and unattached. Fourth is the demon of emotions. Joy, anger, sorrow, fear may manifest as vivid experiences, all the trials that disturb inner peace. Fifth is the demon of affection. Events like misfortunes, illness of children may test how one navigates through it. Six is the demon of hardship. Dangers like fire, poison, wild beast, or violent people may threaten the body. The cultivator must remain calm and committed. Seventh is the demon of sages. Even if deities like the three pure ones or the Jade Emperor appear, one must not cling to these visions or develop pride. Eighth is the demon of war. Scenes of battles, weapons, and chaos may unfold. One must keep a steady heart and not be alarmed. Ninth is the demon of music and dance. Heavenly maidens performing with graceful music may tempt the senses. Stay centered, and do not be moved. 10th is the demon of seduction. Beautiful, alluring women may appear, offering pleasure and affection. This is often the hardest test to resist. Overcome the lust. Overcome lust. Only by holding firm to the Tao, transcending emotional and sensory attachments, can one break through these demons, attain enlightenment, and ascend to immortality. Unquote. That was translated by Don't Know Nothing. So thank you for that. And I would like to add on to everything said here, and that is that in any given moment in our daily lives, we can consciously apply all these virtues, these moral guidelines. So instead of bursting out in a reaction towards something, we may instead pause, breathe, calm our mind, and respond from a balanced state. Eventually, this becomes autopilot, and you won't have to think about it because you become one with the Tao. However, there are many times when we need to go deeper within and get to the root cause of our mental impressions. So these are essentially comprised of our thoughts, feelings, and actions that we have experienced in this life and in past ones. This requires going into a deep meditative state to access our unconscious mind and find the root cause of the habitual patterns in order to purify it and be free. An example of this, we can imagine our mind as a lake, and every single time we have a thought, it creates a wave in the lake. Now, deep inside the lake is our unconscious mind. And when a bubble is rising from the bottom of the lake, sometimes we may not see it. Yet it is only when it bursts at the surface and makes a ripple is when we know it is there. So we shall only be successful in grappling with the waves of a lake when we get a hold of them at their very roots and dissipate its control over our lives. And it's important to be aware that through developing all these virtues and creating benevolence in the world, healing the world around us, we must be aware that our society is a consciousness trap and designed to block us from our true power. So the dark forces in this world are always intentionally trying to degrade humanity and our society, and we can already see that in the world, and they are amping it up big time. So we need to reject their attempts to degrade us. Don't absorb that. Don't become what they want us to become. You know, this degradation is designed to take us away from the path of benevolence and to truly heal and save the world, or to truly create spiritual enlightenment. So reject their mind control spells. We have the power to overcome it all, but we must develop a higher level of awareness to not unknowingly fall into the direction they want us to fall. We must not get tricked. So if humanity can awaken their natural consciousness to allow the divine presence of their inner original spirit to come into being, or be completely aligned with the divine creator, then you'll naturally see the true nature of everything as it is. You'll be naturally radiating so much beautiful energy and positive light, and spiritual energy in a good way in the environment and in the world, and thus can help others. So one who can do this awakens to the true human. Quote, sometimes the true human opens its eyes and light fills the universe, illuminating even the dark regions of the netherworld. Sometimes the true human opens its mouth and energy fills the universe, putting all demons to flight. The true human holds the power of evolution, the mechanism of yin and yang, the talisman of life and death, the handle of essence and life. Unquote. That was by Liu Yiming, 18th century Taoist master. Final one for the video, which is translated by Don't Know Nothing, and it's from a scripture called The Repentance of Patriarch Q. Quote, may we abstain from meat, alcohol, and killing, and never harm any life. May we keep our conduct upright and abstain from improper desires. May all greed be vanquished, all peril and arrogance be removed. May our words be free of falsehood and our actions rooted in sincerity. May we humble ourselves and patiently endure anger and wrongs. May our hearts be compassionate and gentle and show reverence towards all beings. May we not fall into the borderlands of delusion nor follow false or harmful views. May we befriend those of the immortal way and dwell in clarity and emptiness. May our wisdom be awakened and expansive, our spiritual powers vast and radiant. May we skillfully benefit others and universally aid all living beings. May we forever sever attachment and delusion and all return to the supreme Tao. Unquote. And may we all follow the path of righteousness, virtue, and benevolence to truly, truly heal ourselves, each other, the world. Help others realize this, help others come to these practices and develop this in the world. And thus we can truly create a paradise and uplift the consciousness of ourselves, each other, and the earth into a more positive and benevolent one. Or to escape the wheel of samsara or the reincarnation trap, however you want to view it. Thank you all for watching. Much blessings.